Hey guys, Django Fett here, and we are back with another episode of the awesome Mandalorian podcast. And once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Captain Awesome,
Hey guys.
and we have another special guest this time, which is Josh B.
Guys,
So today we're going to be starting our top five movies, upcoming movies of 2020. I know it's already 2020 as it is, but we figured with upcoming releases and it's still the beginning of the year, might as well start the list. All right, so I'll let Cap go first with number five.
My number five most anticipated movies of 2020 is Wonder Woman 1984. I loved the first movie 4 years ago in 2017. The same director, Patty Jenkins, and the rest of the cast is back for it. And I am interested to see how Steve Trevor comes back, and obviously how Cheetah becomes the way she is, as she's like my favorite Wonder Woman villain. And overall, I do really enjoy Gal Gadot in the role, so I'm very looking forward to the sequel this summer.
So my number five is Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm a little iffy on this movie, but I am excited. I think it's going to be a fun, cheesy action movie. I think it's going to be a little bit more cohesive in its direction. I'm not sure if I trust the director in general, because he did Death Note, unfortunately. But I feel like it'll be much more focused and fun action movie compared to, the last movie. But we'll see what happens with Godzilla vs. Kong.
my fifth anticipated movie would be Ghostbusters Afterlife. The first movie is one of my all-time favorites. The sequel is okay, and I'd rather not talk about the 2016 movie.
My number four is Godzilla vs. King Kong. As Django said, there's been a lot of issues, you could say, with this movie at the moment behind the scenes and everything. But I am very excited to see, obviously the two most iconic kaiju monsters of all time coming together in a remake that I've been wanting to see for many, many years. I think Godzilla King Kong will be one of the big events, for 2020.
All right, so my number four is James Bond: No Time to Die. I've actually really liked the Daniel Craig movies quite a lot. Casino Royale still remains my favorite. This movie looks awesome. I love the trailer, what they're doing with it. It's going to be last send-off for Daniel Craig, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be like a fun, action-packed ride.
My fourth anticipated movie would be Marvel's The Eternals. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy, I know little to nothing about these characters, but everything I'm hearing so far about how it's set in ancient times 7,000 years ago, it's got a good cast. I'm looking forward to it, and it looks like a really good movie. And I look forward to the first trailer.
My number three is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I've grown up a huge fan of Ghostbusters, from the original films to the animated series to the video games, and obviously this being like the true Ghostbusters free, you could say, live action one. And it looks like a great passing the torch, and I also love Paul Rudd as an actor and everything, so overall I'm very excited for it. It looks like the people making this, are, treating Ghostbusters in a respectful way, and it feels like the Ghostbusters with the right essence, but something new at the same time, so I'm looking forward to this movie a lot this year.
So my number three is Dune. I don't really know much about the Dune franchise in general, but I've always been interested in looking from the outside. But it does look like a really fun fantasy movie, and it's going to be written, directed, and produced by Denis Villeneuve. He did the Sicario movie. He's done a shit ton of awesome movies, and it has a really awesome stellar cast. We don't really know much about this movie in general, but it looks like it could be an epic franchise that could branch like a whole like trilogy and so forth. So very much looking forward to the future with this movie.
My third anticipated movie would be Edgar Wright's new movie, Last Night in Soho. It contains two of my favorite actors, Matt Smith and Anya Taylor-Joy, and he describes it as a psychological horror film set in London in the 1960s. It's got all my favorite elements, psychological horror and Edgar Wright. So of course I'm going to see this.
My number two would have to be The Eternals, coming out later this year, because this is definitely Marvel's wildest risk since the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got a huge, great cast. Very ambitious by setting it, back in the day, like ancient times for the MCU. So we're going to have the origins of, characters that, we've never seen before and everything, and lore that we've never seen explored. So I'm very excited to see how it ties into everything in present time later on as well. So I think this movie could be a massive hit or a big failure, who knows, but I'm definitely very fascinated and interested in this.
So my number 2 is Tenet. After seeing the trailer, and it's directed by Christopher Nolan, being this trippy, mind-bending film, much like Inception in a way, but it's so radically different in another sense, where people are trying to go forward, but things are happening backwards, and it's just a really awesome experience, and you can't expect anything less from Christopher Nolan. So I'm very much looking forward to this movie, and it's definitely really high on my list.
Yep, I'm with you, Django. My number 2 is Tenet as well. It's Christopher Nolan's one of my favorite filmmakers, and when I went to see Rise of Skywalker in IMAX, they played the first few minutes of the movie in a private screening, and what I saw was incredible, and it looks to be Nolan's most ambitious film yet.
My number 1 is the Dune reboot directed by Denis Villeneuve. You know, this guy's one of my favorite directors. You know, he did Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, on Blade Runner 2049, and Dune, as just like Django said, I don't really know much about the science fiction novel series, but I heard great things about it, and the cast is huge, like proper Hollywood stellar, massive cast, and I think you could tell that this could be something massive. This could be the next big saga, next big trilogy, next big franchise going forward for movies, and I'm very looking forward to this because I don't know what to expect, and I guess that's what makes me really excited, but at the same time I know the guy directing it is phenomenal, so that is why I'm very hyped for this movie as my number 1.
Alright, so my number 1, that's a funny one, but Bill and Ted Face the Music. I've loved Keanu Reeves and this little mini franchise, and actually finishing off the trilogy, be it like 30-40 years, it's just a classic 80s franchise. And even though I don't believe this will be as close to an 80s-esque movie, it still will be like a really fun movie, because I feel like Keanu Reeves will still put his heart and soul into it, and they will really try to recreate a lot of the 80s element into this movie quite a bit. So I'm been looking forward to this movie for a while, and it's my number 1.
My number 1 anticipated movie is Dune as well. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite filmmakers. I just watched Arrival today. It was amazing, and he blew my mind with Blade Runner 2049. And I don't know much about the source material either, but the movie certainly has my attention, with him and the cast attached.
So, guys, that is our top 5 movies of 2020. I'm sure there's a bunch more we have on our list as well. Let us know in the comment section your upcoming movies that you're looking forward to for the year 2020. And Cap, as always, really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me on here, and I love doing this with you, bro.
Absolutely. And Josh, thank you for stopping by as well.
Thank you for having me.
And I will be sure to post all of Josh's info, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff in the description down below. So guys, please check out Josh when you get a chance. Thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to more of these awesome Mandalorian podcasts. We got a bunch more coming up. Next one is going to be spoiler review of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Very much looking forward to that as well. Please be sure to like this video, comment down below, guys, and subscribe to the channel Django Fett if you haven't already, and to the rest of the guys down below. And we'll see you guys on the next video.
Bye, guys.
Hey, guys.